Thank you for joining me on day 24 of this Positivity Challenge. My name is Zena Hicks, and I hope you've been enjoying the series so far. Today, I'd like to talk to you about vulnerability, or rather fear of vulnerability. And the fear of vulnerability is the unwillingness to accept emotional risk in your life. And people who feel vulnerable all of the time and don't want to feel vulnerable, it can have knock-on effects in their life, such as impacting relationships, the feeling that one never belongs anywhere, and also their voice is not heard. So they're afraid of speaking out, saying the wrong things, afraid of conflict, and not wanting to stand out for the wrong reasons. And just even recording these videos on a daily basis, it can be challenging. It can be challenging to put yourself out there. It can be challenging to expose yourself to a wider audience who have opinions. But the thing is, and the thing we need to remember is, we're not going to please all of the people at all of the time. And we need to find our own tribe and be comfortable where we are. So Brené Brown, who you might have already heard of, and if you haven't, please do look her up, has some amazing books and podcasts, and she's known as the queen of vulnerability and has a PhD in shame. And she has a Netflix program called Courage, which you must watch, and TEDTalks on the power of vulnerability. And in particular, she explores courage and fostering a sense of courage to overcome vulnerability and step out of your comfort zone to do something that maybe ordinarily wouldn't do, and feel empowered by that. So I'm going to share with you a number of tips that I use and hopefully will be valuable to you to help you foster a sense of courage and step into your vulnerability and be your authentic self. The first tip is to get to know yourself. Get to know your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors. And in week 1 and day 1, we spoke about taking a band and moving it from wrist to wrist when we had a feeling of judgment against somebody else or ourselves. Really notice how you're thinking, and notice particularly when some resistance is arising, either towards somebody else or towards something you want to do. Number 2 is to accept yourself. And in day 12, we looked at mirror work, where you look in the mirror and you accept what you see. You change the narrative from any negative thoughts into more positive and more helpful ones. And most importantly, tip 3 is to talk and share your truth. Now, you might find this easier with friends, surrounding yourself with people who already love you and accept you as you are. But you may want to go one step further and have a courageous conversation with someone who you may have conflict with, or maybe something they say you don't agree with. So there are 3 ways that you can foster a better sense of authenticity, of opening yourself up to vulnerability. And remember to practice. Vulnerability isn't something we can just step into overnight. It takes practice, and it takes time, and it also takes self-compassion on yourself. I know I'll most certainly be continuing to practice these tips regularly, and I hope you find them of some value too. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.